Hey guys, Kevin Cage back with another cryptocurrency update. Welcome to the channel. Like and subscribe if you're serious about the digital asset space, and let's get right into it today. One take and uncut. So I'm going to kick things off here, and this is going to be a little bit different. I will include some topics about Ripple specifically afterwards, but overall I want to talk about market sentiment and basically market developments with some competitors and groups that Ripple, the company, and also the XRP ecosystem wants to complement. So to kick things off, XRP sustainability here. Take a step back. These prices are irrelevant to us. We're here to cash out at $10, $50, and personally, I'm holding a bag for a very, very long time as well, because who's to say or rule out 3 to 4 digits as well. Now, Ripple is after the big picture, of course, as they're saying here, creating a payments protocol for the Internet of Value, basically creating the railway or the infrastructure, or I like to say the plumbing for all crypto assets, not only crypto, but just digital assets entirely, equities, tokenized real estate, you name it. Now, right here. And again, they do call it a level playing field. Now, if you pay attention, David Schwartz years ago, even on like radio shows and interviews and podcasts in 2015 and possibly even a little earlier, they were saying leveling the playing field. They were saying a level. What did they say? There was another word for it. But essentially, you'll hear the International Monetary Fund director or former director, Christine Lagarde. She's now the current European Central Bank president. We hear Donald Trump saying it. We hear a lot of top tier individuals saying level the playing field in terms of specifically for finance, guys. Now, what this essentially means is, of course, another way you could look at it is financial inclusion as well. Let's look at this definition that they have. So right here, what defines a level playing field in this context? When banks and fintech financial technology firms for the same customers with similar services and by taking similar risks, they should be similarly regulated. Same risk, same regulation. So it's completely equal for them, but different players may be operating under very different regulatory regimes. All right. Very, very interesting, guys. Again, and this is specifically for the banking sector. Just wanted to share that. And again, this is directly from the BIS.org or the Bank of International Settlements. So again, this is another speech where they've said this word or this phrase. Next. So again, there's been huge talk about this. So Cryptopolis sharing this. This is a bill that is essentially being proposed right now. And this is the huge talk. Again, to go back with this, Greg Manarino sharing this article by Forbes. Now, the new CV or the beer flu stimulus bill in Congress creates the U.S. digital dollar. So they're looking at basically a stimulus package to, basically ease and mitigate some pain for everyday people. A lot of people, there's, layoffs, there's health issues. Some people are not working. And the markets are continuing to go down. Either way, I find it interesting. Right at the open today, we're getting a nice rebound. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up about 1,200 points while recording. Now, people are saying that basically, instead of sending checks and taking a few weeks to get to us, it would be a lot faster and a push to go digital, as we already know that this is the narrative as well, or one of many narratives playing out during this whole economic crisis in terms of liquidity. We see that on-demand payments and settlements are an issue, along with many, many other things in terms of infrastructure, of course, medical records and, in terms of healthcare, you name it. So these type of crises really do point to where we can improve as a society as well. So what I want to share is this briefly. So Cryptopolis, I saw Cryptopolis and then also Jim Hyatt sharing this on Twitter before I was kind of looking into it even further, but I do find it interesting. So just to get through it really quick, and again, it's right here at financialservices.house.gov. So as we can see here, you guys can kind of go through it if you just want to control find. Do some digital words. And again, the digital dollar shall mean a balance expressed as a dollar value consisting of digital ledger entries that are recorded as liabilities. Now, what I'm saying, I'm not saying this is XRP. No, what I'm saying is we are most likely going digital. Now, this is a proposal starting by January of 2021, and it gives them a little wiggle room. Personally, I think 2020 will be the year of the digital asset. Typically in crypto, every few years we get a massive bull run that's followed by a huge downtrend or sideways movement, and it's essentially ready to pop off now. All right, and just looking at my other computer screen here, we are so close to breaking a big trend line right now, and I'm hoping we can break upward. I know a lot of people are following some Fibonacci retracements and saying that we could potentially go down to like 13, 9 cents, 5 cents, things of that for support. And again, get your cryptocurrency off exchanges. If you do not want to get a Ledger Nano and spend the money, you can create free paper wallets as well. Just like I diversify the crypto assets I'm investing in, I also diversify where I'm holding them as well. What am I saying? So again, when this bill passes, every U.S. bank account will have a pass-through digital asset wallet created automatically. And if you don't have one, you can use digital wallet ATMs at the USPS branches. Mainstream and mass adoption in one move. Checkmate. So really, really cool. I'm just going to go through this briefly for anyone that is curious. Feel free to screenshot this if you'd like. And again, you can always look it up as well. That's why I only have Twitter for XRP research, just because we can engage with the community members, post pictures, videos, links, etc. So if you guys want to get to Twitter, be sure to follow me. My Twitter link is right in the video description, as always, along with any other info. All right, so talking about pooled share of, a pooled reserve balance. Qualified individual is, of course, anyone other than any non-resident alien individual, as we can see here. Again, huge benefits, of course. We know we were talking in the video about the USD coin yesterday that Coinbase has as a stable coin. And the benefit is, of course, real-time payment settlement. It's cheaper to send, and it's, financially inclusive. So it allows anybody without borders to basically interchange or exchange value. All right. In conjunction with the United States Postal Service, we can talk about the ATM. So again, Cryptopolis summarized it nicely. Now, gets interesting. All right. So as we keep going, talking about the digital dollar, XRP Stored actually posted this. Now, they will have digital wallet with digital dollar. Most will use their money to buy food, rent, everyday essentials. How is this a whole lot of money? Or, this whole lot of money going to basically getting ready to flood with crypto. Well, check this out. Approximately 92% of the world's currency is already digital. It's already on electronic screens. It's not real. You can't physically hold it. We know the Federal Reserve is printing $1 trillion per day, just typing, and they've admitted this. They type digits into a screen, and it can essentially just do whatever they want and go to an infinite amount. You know what? I'm going to play that clip and find it just to show you guys what I am talking about. Look at this guy's stare when he's saying this. This is on 60 Minutes, and I feel like I didn't see this whole interview, so it may be taken out of context. This is shared by XRP Twin. Listen to this 14-second clip of this gentleman basically saying that they can print as much money as they need because they hold all the power.
You don't need to. Your ATM is safe. Your banks are safe. There's enough cash in the financial system, and there is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve. We will do whatever we need to do to make sure that there's enough cash in the banking system. You don't need to.
Listen to this.
Your ATM is safe. Your banks are safe. There's enough cash in the financial system, and there is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve. We will do whatever we need to do to make sure that there's enough cash in the banking system.
Yikes. All right. I don't even need to explain that further. All right. Next up. So again, right here. So the money you earn, transact with, again, used by, to buy goods and services, approximately 92%. That leaves an estimated 8% of currency that is globally physical money, fiat, US dollars, yuan, euro, Singapore dollar, Australian dollar, British pound. It's just wild to consider that, guys. And essentially, we're moving towards a cashless society, but we're relatively already cashless. I don't know if we'll ever go 100% in my lifetime, but, it's very, very possible. All right, because with that, it comes with more governmental control. It comes with more efficiency. Everyone will automatically, pay taxes. It'll be taken out right away. Perhaps we can have real-time payments and you're paid by your employee at the end of the day, or maybe every hour you work. Instead of bi-weekly or once a week, you're just paid at the end of your shift. Things of that nature. There's going to be a bunch of benefits. There's pros and cons. There's two sides to every coin. Just remember that. All right, next, as I've been saying, guys, you remember this narrative that I've been pushing. If you want to look on the community tab of my channel, you can see some of my predictions, people calling me an idiot, people calling me crazy, even when we were talking about national emergencies, quarantine, and yet they're all happening just from some other people that kind of had some foresight and supposedly had some inside information. Take that with what you will. But right here, with my whole theory about the internet and global markets and banks, kind of pausing, especially the global markets kind of going down for, maybe a few days just to kind of get everything stabilized once again. Donald Trump actually did a redirect in an interview the other day, and they're talking about a shutdown, and then he kind of talked about, he tried to do a political redirect talking about, kind of shutting down airports, but essentially he was talking about global markets and banks. Now, if you think that's wild, I'll try to find the interview again, but time will simply tell. There will be, some very interesting events in the weeks and months ahead. Right here, specifically, Britain's internet capacity could be rationed to prioritize critical applications and websites, experts have told The Sun. So keep in mind, they're just talking about their overcapacity with streaming. They're requesting a lot of streaming services, Netflix, Hulu, everybody's streaming video nowadays. If you guys can see video consumption and the growth that we've had the past few years and the trend that it's taking, if anyone studies that, I personally have in the past, at least just reading statistics like anybody. But essentially, what are they requesting? Going down from like high definition down to SD. What is that? Standard definition? I'm not a huge video guy, but essentially it's kind of in steps like that. Now, there's different cities in the United States in particular that are kind of going down, in internet, whether it's LA or Portland every once in a while. This is just the beginning. So personally, even my cell reception, which is normally perfect service, no interruptions, was going in and out. This is kind of the narrative. And then eventually, don't be surprised, I think that there's bigger plans ahead. They want to kind of update the infrastructure. They need to show how it's futile and obsolete now. Same thing with just kind of, implementing, 5G, voice increasing, especially with, DLT infrastructure. There's a whole bunch of things I could go into. All right, now this is where it gets interesting. So this was shared by Peak Product, and again, tagging To the Lifeboats on YouTube. This is Ham, Eggs, and Sam. This is Sam. He's awesome. So again, I really like his content. He did a great video the other day on The Big Short. Go check it out. I think it's on his YouTube channel, To the Lifeboats, and it is called something with The Big Crash, and it basically shows a bunch of clips from the movie The Big Short and showing the parallels today and showing that nothing has really changed with, buying back and purchasing even mortgage-backed securities. We are in a crisis for a reason. So something interesting is basically they're just saying Swift has changed their entire image to professional messaging service. Now remember, Ripple, or at least the XRP specifically, is the digital asset aiming not necessarily to replace Swift. I'd rather say complement Swift and replace their settlements mechanism instead of, being their new correspondent banking partner. And that is where all the money lies. If you are settling with XRP, there either has to be a bunch of liquidity to settle trillions per day, or a higher price. And it is my bet that it will be absolutely both, guys. We want XRP to be as liquid as a G10 currency. If you were holding a digital asset that is even remotely liquid or liquid enough to be similar to a G10 currency, get ready for price appreciation. That is not even like speculation at this point. So it seems like the word payments has taken a back seat. Interesting that it's kind of taken this initiative, and I want to tie it into this next post. So right here, we're on Swift. Now, let me know if this has always been like this. I could be wrong. But again, completing the last leg of the payments journey and just talking, in the payments stack or the hierarchy of payments. Of course, the application layer, the user design, and the messaging is up top. So right here, I don't know if you can see it, but it says the global provider of secure financial messaging services. I'm going to show the picture. It's probably not as good of quality, but hopefully you can see it. So it's right here with my cursor. Secure financial messaging. No longer, settlement and payments. And of course, we have Swift GPI, competitor to Xcurrent that Ripple has, payment securities, trade finance. But guys, very, very exciting. Gosh, I could talk about this forever. I was watching Nevin Gupta yesterday talking about basically getting into capital finance in the future. Absolute huge things ahead. I know Chris Larson, executive chairman of Ripple, I'll bring this up in another video, but he literally was talking about basically the first layer is getting like fast, secure technology going and settlement of, effectively cross-border. Then the next step is after we get payments to be as fast and close to zero as possible in terms of cost, then we get the fun stuff going. We get these decentralized distributed applications built on top. We get into DeFi, decentralized finance. We get into derivatives. This is where the big money lies. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people essentially invested so high that now they just want to get their investment back. And instead of just having the foresight. So I'm not going to recommend it to you, but not financial advice. I'm holding a big portion of my holdings for a long time, just in case. And again, I highly recommend, taking profits, do what's right for you, your family, your personal scenario, make money, reward yourself. But you just, if a lot of you have probably worked hard or invested for, 2 to 5 years with this investment, I'm just getting started. So, all right. Now, this is interesting right here. This is, it's me, Sass, S-A-S-S, and this is really cool. So this is on Crypto.com, and she's just sharing this. And I'll essentially just go to the website that she has here, frequently asked questions found here. Now, this is cool too. This kind of goes with the narrative of Swift changing. And now we have Crypto.com. So as we can see here, and I believe this is, I'm going to say SEPA. I apologize if it's SEPA or SEPA, but S-E-P-A and then Swift processor. So check this out, this announcement for Crypto.com app. So, for all users with balances in fiat wallets, this update only affects users with fiat balances from SEPA deposits, Swift deposits, or conversion from crypto to these SEPA or Swift fiat wallets. If your fiat balance comes from ACH USD transfers, or again SGD transfers only, your account will not be affected. So if you find that your account will be affected, understand and assess the options available. So here's the deadline. Before March 31st of this year, you have the option to purchase crypto with your fiat balance or transfer the fiat out. On April 1st, 2020, and there's a lot of conspiracies that April 2020 we're going to a gold standard. Personally, guys, I will only believe it when I see it. It doesn't really matter what I believe. What I hope, I would love for metals to be included in some form of recovery for this economy. I own metals. I'm bullish on metals. I see the value, and I also see the value in digital currencies as well. Owning that IP protocol that basically all of the future, not only the financial sector, but other sectors and verticals will be built upon. So it's talking if you have a remaining balance in your fiat wallets, we would convert this balance to stable coins and credit it directly to the corresponding stable coins crypto wallets in your Crypto.com app. Wow, everything is going digital, guys. I mean, they're giving us a warning. Everything's happening, but it's very kind of low key. So do not be surprised if we see stablecoins going industry-wide. Now, a lot of you will go, there's going to be people in the comments, I already can tell. They're going to say, yeah, but this has nothing to do with XRP. You're missing the point. This is basically adoption of what we have been saying is coming for years. We are adopting digital currencies. These are stable coins, whether they're pegged or backed, it does not matter. We still need a bridge asset, and we need an interoperability protocol, and we still need a ledger to settle these systems. This is the absolute future, guys. Sometimes it takes longer. Personally, I thought I had to wait another 5 years. That's kind of what I've been doing based off the ISO migrations. But now after seeing the news, this black swan event with the world that's crazier than ever, these are the type of crises that push societies to change. I'm very, very excited. All right, next up, guys, again, CNN reporter Julia Chatterley, as we can see here, and basically just talking about the St. Louis Federal Reserve is available to download here. Information, stimulus package, stable coins, digital assets, talking about, monetary policy. You get the gist. Now, what's interesting is, again, she has interviewed Ripple numerous times. She's interviewed Alex Holmes, CEO of MoneyGram, as well as just talking about cryptocurrencies specifically. And I find this to be very interesting. I believe that she knows what is happening. I can absolutely see it coming, and pretty cool that she follows me. I didn't even realize that, so someone was pointing that out the other day. So I had to make sure I was following her. But so right here, guys, 2014, this is the St. Louis Fed back with Ripple discussing them as well. I have the PowerPoints right here. So this is Ripple Insights, the website, talking about central banks and cryptocurrencies specifically, a match made in heaven. And again, central banks going digital. All right, this is years ago, 2014 of April. Now look at this. This is dialogue with the Fed. They talk about Bitcoin, virtual currencies. This is 2014, and the president at that time, I'm not sure, I don't believe it's the same one I thought. Who is, I think, President Bullard, unless they're from a different group. But again, VP right here, Federal Reserve of Bank of St. Louis. So again, control find. We'll just do a Ripple because they didn't really call it XRP. And we can just kind of go through here, partial list. They talk about other cryptos, don't get me wrong, in the evolution of money, combining, cryptology with the power of the internet, local currencies. And then right here, together with Ripple, a currency agnostic P2P or peer-to-peer payment system to facilitate low costs. And again, this is beyond today's financial headlines, Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. So again, showing that connection. And basically in the picture, I also just wanted to point to her is right here. This is a quote right on the Ripple Insights page. So I'll just go to that, I guess, so you guys can read it as well. So, and then right here, again, just to show how well connected these companies are, again, Ripple is one of the highest valued private companies to date in history from Silicon Valley, $10 billion valuation. This is not a joke. This is not just some cryptocurrency ranked, number 300 that is helping some random country with, some silly use case. This is truly a multi-trillion-dollar problem that they are already tackling institutionally. If you think this is a scam, just leave this video right now. That's a complete joke to me, because anybody that actually does research, instead of just watching a 10 or 40-minute video, you'll actually see the big picture and see the connections. Again, there's tons of channels on YouTube. I highly recommend checking them out, but also sourcing them. And then there's this cool website called Google where you can find out a bunch. So again, obviously, here's the quote. "Obviously, this is not the official view of the Fed," said Karen Gifford, who had a stint at the New York Fed and is chief compliance officer at Ripple Labs. And the quote here, "Nonetheless, it's really exciting that there's an economist within the Federal Reserve System who has had such a good grasp and understanding of the technology and its potential." Enough said. All right, next up. Now, XRP Yoda sharing this, so we note that BRICS, basically the getaway from the US dollar reserve system and status. So BRICS is an acronym for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and then South Africa. They're all essentially kind of leaving this SWIFT network. And keep in mind, even the United States personally, you've heard that they're kind of ready to leave the US dollar reserve status. Of course, there's the Trifin dilemma, of course. And basically, this is a little talk for you. And again, this has been all over the news, but this is also interesting as well, is Korea would be added and make BRICS spelled correctly, BRICKS. So again, Korea would be the K in the word BRICS. That would be absolutely, phenomenal. It would be very interesting to see that. If so, this is a great catch, because I've personally never even considered that. So we will see. This was 100% speculation on my end. Just wanted to share that. All right, next up, Henrique Tahira. I'm not sure how to say his last name, but again, from Ripple in 2019, this gentleman here essentially just discussing, this is shared by XRP_Stort, must follow on YouTube and Twitter. And basically quotes here, "I believe in a few years from now, any payment we are going to make, if it's domestic or international, will be by 24/7, 365, guys. This is not only for cross-border payments, but also e-commerce. Just like I was talking about the video trending and data consumption increasing, I think you're all aware of Amazon and other global markets, doing electronic commerce and ordering online. You all know that that is essentially the future. Just wait until we have drones delivering our packages as well." And basically, he makes a few good points in this video, just saying, yeah, we can stream video in space, but yet we cannot send value instantaneously. And he makes a great point. So again, and this can be executed seamlessly as if you were sending an email. Just typing in the address, click send, it's there. All right, that's how it should be. Or if I was sending a file through the internet. So let's listen to a little bit of it, and then I'm going to skip to the next thing.
The cross-border payments experience 5 years from now.
Thanks, AT. Thanks for the invitation, Ray and FinTech Americas. It's a pleasure to be here this year again. So what we have done and what we see for the future at Ripple is really how to remove the friction on the cross-border payment space, having more efficient process with less costs, improve the speed, and also work with the banks and the payment providers on the business process to make it a seamless process and payments that could happen instant, being local or being cross-border payments. So when we look into the future in 5 years, I think we are not going to be discussing anymore payments that are not instant, right? So we see many countries implementing domestic rails 24/7, and we see a lot of banks and payment providers working, bridging those local domestic clearings, bridging that with the cross-border payments also 24/7. So I believe in a few years from now, any payment we are going to make, if it's domestic or...
And again, guys, they are by nature having to be very, very conservative with their views.
Or international will be 24/7 and can be executed seamlessly as if I was sending an email or if I was sending a file through the internet.
Would you agree, David? Do you think that instant payments in the cross-border realm are...
Yeah, and I think that it's very consistent, our view from MasterCard in terms of what does the global payment world looks like a couple of years from now, right? And typically you go to a store, right? You can buy anything with your card, you know exactly how much you're paying, how much the merchant is receiving. And you also know that you're getting the money now, or whatever it is, after settlement in 2 days.
See right there. I mean, on the conservative side, settlement would take 2 days. Now, with super liquid currencies and currencies that are sent on a daily basis, yeah, it might be sooner than that. But with the currencies that do not have direct pairs in liquidity, that is kind of the low-hanging fruit that Ripple and other cross-border fintechs are tackling. Those are the hard to reach ones. So that's why they're focusing in, Southeast Asia in particular, or Latin America, the Thai baht, the Argentine peso, things of that nature. Those are where it can take 2 to 6 and even, 10 days, or 6% of the money never even gets there and can be lost entirely. This is what you're investing in. You are investing in basically, packet data for the Internet of Value that you'll get paid upon the more it is used and the more volume is sent. You are providing organic liquidity for the network early on in times of such uncertainty. But now, back in the day, if you invested like Digital Asset Investor in 2013, even 2014, 2015, 2016 as well, those were uncertain times. And I think at this point, there's already end game in mind. The Fed is not, printing money limitlessly, just like in 2008. They learned their lesson. They know what is happening. There is a narrative behind this. I'm not going to act like I know exactly what's going on. What I can tell you is I listen to a lot of smart people on a daily basis. I talk to a lot of smart people on a daily basis. I consider myself pretty well connected. And I'm just saying, do not sleep on this opportunity, not financial advice. But if you do your own research in a quick manner, I am sure that you will come to the same conclusion that this is one of the clear winners in the digital asset space.
But it's crazy to see how in the cross-border space, and you want to send a wire to like your family member in a different country, you have no idea how much they're going to get. You don't know when they're going to get the money. And to Ricky's point, it's ridiculous. So I strongly believe that.
So exactly, and that's the cool thing with, Ripple software as well, that is, arguably with well over 300 banks at this time, and along with other companies that can white label the tech and create their own software, you can get these FX rates and messaging and agree on the fees beforehand, and then when you're ready to go, you simply, with a click of a button, just like sending an email, the payment can be settled, whether it's 3 seconds or 2 minutes. That beats 2 days with the existing system. And they've even said in previous videos, people with Swift and other groups, they say with the correspondent banking network, when you're sending a payment, sometimes it has to go through like 8 to 10 different groups just to get there. With this is, bi-directional. It can go both ways instantaneously. Clear communication. They get rid of the intermediary. There is no more middlemen in this future for the Internet of Value, guys. And if you have not read Galgatron's latest blog, highly recommend it. This is galgatron.net. It's GALGITRON.net. Highly recommend reading that. Talks about the evolution of the middleman in the future of what, his kind of take on things. Really intelligent guy.
As an industry, it's not only where I see it, I think it's a must that we have to get there.
All right, guys, I feel like I've been ranting enough. This was a long one. I appreciate everybody that has stuck around. Shout out to Jamie XRP and all others as top channel members. If you want me to, read your name at the end of the video, just let me know and shoot me an email, link in the description. Appreciate all of you that hit that like button. And until next time.